Free socks.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Stay tuned for further instructions.
All personnel, report to the nearest tornado shelter.
No cops! No KKK! No fascist USA! No cops! We are here for this ain't nothing. This is not a valid protest, man.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to God's Prepared Warrior Live tonight. Hopefully, all of you can hear me. I know everyone over here on TikTok can hear me pretty well. Welcome, Southern Yankee. Thank you for joining us here tonight on TikTok. Madeline, welcome in. Susan, welcome in. I'm excited. Scott Hummer says, Fernando, I got you at 5x5. Thank you so much, Scott, for the 5x5. You guys have been chatting it up there in the chat over here on YouTube. I'm encouraging all of our family from TikTok to kind of come over to YouTube so they could see all of the neat stuff that we do over here. Thank you, Salt Miss, for that 5x5. I am so glad that you guys are here tonight. So if you got to see just a little bit while ago before the video came on, the picture that I had up on the stage. I don't know if you got to see that, but it is this over the weekend. We have crossed the 3-year mark, and as a channel, and I'm excited about that. So tonight, I'm going to talk about the last 3 years, and then I'm going to talk about where we're going. Right. And so I have a lot of things that I'm going to share. Salt Miss is going to share in the chat some of the questions for tonight. So this is why I want to invite all of you guys from TikTok over to my YouTube channel so that you could be part of the community over here and kind of see all of the things that are happening over here. So, but I love you being here. So thank you for coming in. A lot of you are coming in right now. So thank you for joining me. I see y'all just keep moving up there. So share this out, click the screen so that we can get the algorithm to throw this a little further. That'll definitely help. And thank you guys for joining me over here on TikTok. All right. So before we get to the 3-year thing tonight, I want to go over all of the normal things that we kind of go over, and then we'll jump into celebrating 3 years here on YouTube. And you know, we'll get to some of that here in a little bit. But if you're new to the channel, I want to encourage you that you are the channel, right? You know, all of my usual family here, all of my friends have heard me say this every single live that I start. You know, this channel is not really about me. It's not. It's in a way, kind of, right? Because I'm sharing what I'm doing as far as preparedness, and I am kind of, you know, learning along the way. And today marks that understanding of learning, right? Because, you know, we're just barely into this 3 months, or I'm sorry, 3 years. So, you know, so you guys are the ones who make up this channel because you subscribe to it, because you like the videos, because you comment on the videos. And I learn a lot from you guys, and it's not about me. It's all about you guys. So thank you guys for joining the channel. I'm going to share with you the Warrior Briefing, which is all about the channel and the numbers, right? So over on YouTube, we are currently, drum roll, because we just kind of surpassed another milestone here. As of today, we are at 1,204 subscribers on YouTube. And we are up 6 this week. 6 new people have joined over on YouTube. So guys, thank you for subscribing to the channel, and I would just encourage you to continue to watch, continue to like and comment on all of the videos that I post, because I post a video almost every day, right? I didn't do it on Friday. I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't get to do a video on Friday. And so, you know, like I say, I try to do it every day. But if everything goes okay, it's Monday through Friday, right? Everybody, we get the morning video out. So that's awesome. Over on TikTok over here, we gained 6 new community members also, and we are now at 4,186 followers there. Over on God's Prepared Warrior on Facebook, we have grown. Man, you know, I've been saying, you know, for a while now, I wish Facebook would grow a little bit more. And so we've seen a growth spurt. I'm talking a growth spurt, right? So over on the Facebook channel, we gained 22 new community members over on God's Prepared Warrior on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, subscribe there, because I always throw stuff in there. And also, if you're on Facebook, if you go to the groups tab and you search for God's Prepared Warrior Community, that is a group page that I started that acts as a subscription page. You don't pay for anything because it's free, and I'm not going to charge you for anything. So go to that page, because there you're going to see behind the scenes. You're going to see photos. I always throw photos of me and my wife in there, you know, going to church, things like that. So go check that out. That's free. So go look up God's Prepared Warrior Community on the groups tab and just answer the 3 little questions there, and you'll get access to that information. So go check that out. You know, on the community page, we gained one new community member there, and that threw us up to 50. That is super awesome, right? Over on X, we lost a couple, right? We're sitting at 1,041 over on X. And then over on Instagram, we are at 1,289 new community members there. As of this week, we've gained 31 new members over the week. So over this last week, from last Monday, we've gained 66 new community members. And I applaud you guys for joining and subscribing to all of the channels, right? You know, I'm over on all of these channels, and you know, I'm throwing stuff up there, and y'all don't know how how difficult that is to create a video for every channel. It's a little difficult, right? It's a little difficult, and but you know, I'm in the middle of the night, I'm doing it, right? Early in the morning, I'm doing it. You know, during the day on my lunch, I'm doing it. So you know, it's a fun thing. I love what we're doing here, and you know, we're 3 years in as of the weekend. So that is pretty cool. All right, so over here on YouTube, guys, thank you for coming in. Scott Hummer is here. Salt Mist is here today. OVP is in the house. Welcome, OVP. He says he got on early today, and he's like, I'm here. Let's start this thing. I saw that comment. And so thank you for joining in, my friend. Tammy is in the house today. Welcome in, Tammy. Shelly, thank you, Shelly, for joining us tonight over here on YouTube. And I'm Dana Let's Prep is here. Guys, don't forget to follow everyone's channel. We get to see all the great things that they're doing. I love following you guys and learning from what you guys are doing too as well. Dana and Shelly, yep, they're in the house. So welcome in, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for saying congratulations on the 3 years. Thank you, Shelly, for that. I appreciate that. And Dana, thank you so much. So before we get into tonight's topic of the 3-year thing, I want to say I want to go into our Watchman Report, because there are a few things that I want all of you guys to pay attention to that's out there. Now, if you're new, if you go to the description of this live feed in YouTube, you will find the links to all of this that I'm sharing with all of you today. If you guys would like to kind of follow along, all of that is there. All of my links to all of the other social medias there too as well. And make sure you check that out. I also have a couple of discount codes in this description. One is for Jase Medical. The other is for Jackery, the Jackery Solar panel thingies. So go in there, check those out, take advantage of that stuff there. I don't think I get anything for that. So I just wanted to throw those discounts in there for you. All right, so let's look at the first one. This one is coming from the Associated Press. It says, Darlene Graham Nordum, sister of Lindsey Graham, chosen to fulfill the remainder of his U.S. Senate term. So it says here that Lindsey, which is, Darlene, which is Lindsey Graham's sister, has been named temporary replacement in the U.S. Senate after his unexpected death over the weekend. So South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster announced at the news conference at the State House today that she would serve the remaining months on Graham's current term, which expires in January. Senate Majority Leader John Thurham said after that she would be sworn in on Tuesday afternoon. So she's being sworn in tomorrow for this position. So, I kind of knew that all of a sudden everyone was going to fight for this seat. And I don't know if you saw that, but right after the announcement that he had passed, right, we saw a few things. We saw people throwing up, conspiracy that, he was killed, that he was poisoned, all these things, right? I think I even shared a couple of things with Saltmus and said, hey, are you seeing this? Do you think this could be, right? And so, then all of a sudden, we see Patel coming in and saying that the FBI is going to be looking in, they're going to have an investigation on his death and, to kind of follow along with making sure that everything is on the up and up, right? And so, all of that kind of happened. And then all of a sudden, there's posts about, what happens next, who gets the seat, right? That kind of a thing. And then here we are, his sister is now going to set in. OVP says the timing makes it look suspicious. Yes, you are exactly right, because I was in that spot for a moment, because he had just got back from, Iran, and, I ain't putting nothing past anybody anymore. It's sad, but it's true, right? It's true, because you're trying to figure out, is it this malicious? Is it a malicious thing that happened to the poor guy, or was it really just kind of natural causes? And so it's still lingering, especially when the FBI comes out and says we're going to be investigating this. So it's almost like, and then the other thing was that the Lindsey Graham camp quickly submitted that he had passed due to natural causes. So, I would imagine that the government would really know what happened truthfully, right? And if it was something of malicious intent, I would imagine that the United States would have really jumped on that and kind of used that as, well, now we're just gonna drop them, right? And so you know, who knows? Timing is everything, right? Right, OVP. Timing is everything. So yeah, yeah. So that's happening, right? So pay attention to that. I don't know. I think they did it out of what do you call it? Putting his sister in there. I think it was out of good intentions. I think, right? But at the same time, my other side of my brain is like, well, are they only doing it to block anybody else that shouldn't be in there getting in there, right? I don't know. So it's something to pay attention about. Keep an eye on that one. The next one is coming from CBS News in Maine. It says a man fatally shot by ICE in Maine was not the intended target of warrant, lawmakers say. So an immigration and custom enforcement agent in Maine fatally shot a man in his car today. The Department of Homeland Security said, making the second time in a week that ICE officers have used deadly force in the United States. And so DHS alleged that the man who was in the country illegally had attempted to flee the scene when ICE tried to stop him around 7 a.m. In, I think it's Bedford, Maine. And fearing for public safety, an officer discharged his weapon. He later died. That person died from their injuries. And so now there is a huge investigation on that. And it's not only that one, right? There was another one out of Harris County over the weekend. And so Harris County DA vows full investigation into the fatal ICE shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Arejo. And so he was also fatally shot over in Houston. And ICE shootings to the public and killing these people. So, I understand why ICE is out there doing it, and I totally am for United States putting people who aren't supposed to belong in the United States and putting them back where they came, because I truly believe that if you have been here long enough, right, to work on your paperwork, when was it ever fine that it was okay if nobody communicated with you to not do it, right? And so it's a touchy subject, I know, but there are steps. If I go to Mexico and I want to live in Mexico, there are steps that I'm going to go and have to do, right? Anywhere else in the United States, I mean in the world, right? I have to do all of those things, and I have to make sure that all of those things are correct so that I don't get deported in a crazy way, right? And so yeah. Dana says, well, let me go higher. Probably never know. Let's see. Tried running over the ICE agent. That Salt Miss said that. Yes, that is very true. Of course, if that agent did not have cause, then it was wrong. But if he tried to run over the agent, then just like before, he was in the right, because the vehicle becomes a deadly weapon. So, it's about force, right? If the person is just running, no weapon has been brought, no harm is coming to the officer cannot pull his gun out and shoot them in the back. It's the force is not equal, right? Yeah, so pay attention to those two things. I think there's going to be something coming out of that, especially when it comes to regulation and things like that, because especially if they did it and it wasn't the right time to use that force. So we'll see as it comes out. All right, the next one comes from The Guardian. It says Mexico is going to file criminal complaints over migrants killed by ICE in the United States. So This is coming from Claudia Sheinbaum, who is the president there. She announced today that Mexico would be filing criminal complaints in the U.S. for the deaths of more than a dozen Mexican migrants in immigration detention and those killed in anti-migrant operations. The deaths includes last week's killing of Lorenzo, the guy I just talked to you about, whom Sheinbaum said was murdered. And then it's a case that sparks outrage among all Mexicans. The Mexican president said during her morning news conference, "We cannot simply continue with diplomatic letters that have yielded no results." A total of 17 Mexican citizens have died since Donald Trump began his migrant crackdown. 14 people in detention, and another 3 who, like Salgado, were killed during immigration operations. So the Mexican president is upset. She's going to be filing criminal complaints here in the United States over what is happening through all of this. Dana says, "LOL, well, Mexico, would you like your citizens back?" That's a good one. Yeah, so, it's funny, though, because we all know that she is married to the cartels, right? We already know that. Everything happens in Mexico because the president knows about it and the president allows it. Just saying. So, yeah. Why do you think Donald Trump is on about getting the cartels? Because eventually he's going to get her. I'm just saying, it's gonna all hit the fan. You watch. So pay attention to that. That's an important one. This is coming from CNN Business. Trump offers U.S. protection in the Strait of Hormuz for a 20% fee. And so now, instead of Iran being in charge of the strait, the United States is going to be in charge of the strait, and we're going to charge a fee, 20% fee for coming through the strait, which is kind of weird because I think at the beginning they wanted this to just be a open thing, and now we're open but we're charging. So, I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words here because I thought we wanted the strait open, but now we're charging. We're getting all the oil. So what more do you want? I mean, I don't know. It's just really crazy. OVP says we were mad when Iran was charging people. I know, you're right. Yeah, now we're going to do it. Yeah. So you can't win for losing around here, man. I'm just telling you. So that is something to pay attention to because, I really think that, there's a game that I love to play, and it's called What Are You Going to Bring Camping, right? If you're going to go camping with me, we're probably going to play this game when we go camping. And OVP, since you're here, you can't play the game, but you're going to enjoy everybody as they get mad when we play it. And it's really, really easy. And, it goes by your name, right? So you got a leader. Let's say it's me. And I tell everybody we're going camping. What are you going to bring? I'll tell you if you can bring it or not. And you go by the first letter. And I will always say, fire starter. I'll always say fireworks. I'll go say crazy things like French fries. And, everybody else gets into it and they're like, I want to bring stuff like that too. And a lot of times it's like, somebody with the name of Mark. They say, I want to bring fireworks. And I'll say, no, you can't bring fireworks. I'm sorry, you can't bring that camping. When it comes around to me, I'll say, I'm going to bring the fireworks. Everybody gets mad. Why are you going to bring? So anyway, it's going to be a fun game. I'm just saying. I don't now forgot why I was telling you that. My thought just went by. What What was I talking about? We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, right? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna play that game when we go camping. Squirrel. So yeah, I don't know. It's something that we're gonna have to pay attention to because in reality, now I know where I was gonna tell you. In reality, I think that he is using this thing to, I'm gonna charge now, right? Kind of like that game. You can't bring French fry because your name starts with an M, but my name starts with an F, and I'm gonna bring French fries. And when you play that game, people get mad. Trust me. Ask my kids; they know until they figure it out. So I think that's what's happening here. I think that because there needs to be an excuse for them to get mad and push the button, right? And then we just follow suit and then it's done, right? I think that's what really is trying to happen here. And so I don't know what I'm being vigilant to that thing. So that's what I want you guys to do, is stay vigilant to what's happening there. All right, I got 3 more, and then we're gonna move on to our topic for tonight. So this next one is coming from the Anchorage Daily News, and it says many U.S. cities will see record overnight temperatures amid another heat wave. So, guys, it's been stinking hot over here and humid, right? Because we are expecting tonight rain again, and we're expecting this rain tonight. Tomorrow is supposed to be 100% chance of rain here in my area, and all the way to Friday, according to the forecast. So we're about to get pummeled again. I don't know if you guys saw some of the things I posted up from a couple of days ago, over the weekend, Saturday, as a matter of fact. We got tons of rain on Saturday, and we're already saturated. We can't take any more water because it's just going to fill up. And it filled up roads. It filled up underpasses. I mean, it was full. So, yeah. And it caught people by surprise because people weren't ready for the rain that came on Saturday. So it's important, guys, important to be weather aware, especially with this heat wave that's coming to hit us another week of record heat temperatures across the United States. So be very watchful for that. Make sure that if you have, elderly family, neighbors, that you're checking in with them, because it is coming. And here where I live, it's going to get really, really bad. Let's see. Dana says the rain would be great for those with rain barrels. Yes, that is true. And I have one, and I need to set it up so that I can start collecting. Thank you for reminding me about that. Everybody else gets a free pass. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. OVP says, I like the heat. Bring it on. Yeah, I sure don't. It's too hot over here, let me tell you. All right. The next one is coming from NPR. It says, McConnell says a fell led to his hospitalization, breaking weeks of silence. Senator Mitch McConnell on Sunday revealed for the first time that he had that a fall led to his hospitalization, breaking the silence about his condition after weeks of monitoring speculation or mounting speculation about the Kentucky Republicans' health. Actually, a lot of people were waiting for the death notice for him too. But miraculously, by the grace of God, this is his second fall and probably his second comeback story. I haven't been really keeping up with him. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Scott said something that says Scott Glenn wants his rain back. It's hot. Yeah. Hey, is Glenn in here? I didn't get to see him come in. Welcome in, my friend. Hope you're here. Yeah, so he's still in it. I think he is in a rehab center, and that's where he's been. So he's been in a rehab center. The picture came out with him and his wife. I guess she came back from her trip and joined him while he was in the hospital. So it's been a week, right? So that's that. Good old McConnell. All right, here's the last one. This one is coming from Axios. It says the U.S. military to enforce new Iranian blockade. All of that is starting tomorrow at 4 p.m. So I put that in here because, we just talked about it a while ago that United States is going to be now in charge of, people coming in and out of there, and they're going to be charging. Well, this actually starts tomorrow at 4 p.m. So, something to watch out for tomorrow. It's so touchy over there in Iran right now, and what's going on and all of that's happening. So keep an eye out on that. Tomorrow, apparently at 4 p.m., we will be taking over that strait, and I don't know how that looks. I don't know if we just go in there guns blazing, or if everybody's just going to bend the knee. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. Scott says, yeah, his wife was busy meeting the CCP VIPs. Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah, that's very true. I don't got time to be with you here in the hospital. Man, that's crazy. Okay. Remind me never to get a government job. That is too crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and go into today's topic. Tonight, I want to talk about these last 3 years, and I want to share some things with you that maybe you don't know tonight. Because over the weekend, YouTube reminded me. They said, hey, you've turned 3. So tonight I want to talk about celebrating. All of us tonight, if I was able to give you guys a slice of cake, we would be having some cake and coffee right now, and we would be celebrating these 3 years with coffee and cake, right? Of course, I would have creamer for all of you who can't drink black coffee, but yeah. So we're celebrating 3 years being on YouTube, and I am truly blessed. I want to start out by saying this: I am truly blessed because I want to say thank you to all of you, because it's like I say at the beginning of every live, without you, I would just be sitting here talking to myself. And I am so thankful because you guys over on TikTok and YouTube, all the other channels, you guys have subscribed, you followed, you comment on the videos, and I love all of that. I love that you guys are interested in the things that the Lord and I talk about, and I hear him say, share this thing, right? Kind of like this morning's video. I got it out kind of late today, but it was a culmination of things that happened on church on Sunday that kind of brought today's video out. So if you haven't seen that, go to YouTube, check it out. Check out today's video. It's a pretty good one. So I just want to start out by saying to all of you, thank you, because truly it is you guys who are this whole thing. All of you are God's prepared warriors, right? And I always address you in that way, right? And so the weekend, we marked the 3 years since I've actually created God's Prepared Warrior YouTube channel. Now, when I uploaded that very first video, and it's still there. It's cringy, but it's still there. It's me with my AR. it's I think it's called the welcome or the intro video. I need to change that. I need to update that. But that was my very first video. It was in my backyard, and I kind of laid out, what I thought this channel would be, right? And a lot of things happened coming up to that point. The Lord used all of this, and He made the way. Trust me, it wasn't anything that I've done in any of this other than just following God, right? Because this channel has never been about, I always share the numbers because it's you guys, right? But I don't look at the numbers and like, all right, I got 5 more people. I can't wait till I get so-and-so amount. That's not me. Because, when I think about it, if I reach 10,000, praise the Lord, but am I going to be able to do that? Right? I mean, like, that's nuts. I don't even want to think about it. Right? So this channel has never been about numbers or people, subscribing. It's always been about getting the information out there. And then in that first video, I talk about that, why I'm doing the channel and why it's important, and what I look to do, right? And honestly, I opened the YouTube channel 3 years ago, but for the first year, I did a lot of learning. I first came across pinball preparedness, and I was in his audience for a year. And I don't think I ever, maybe I did throw some comments in there because he remembers. Maybe I threw a few in there, but I don't think I really had conversations with people other than maybe agreeing with, his content. Then I latched on to Travis over at the Prepared Homestead, and I came across Canadian Prepper, and then a bunch of other ones, right? And I follow a bunch of other people, and now the library of YouTube that I follow is enormous. And so, my morning starts out watching other channels, listening to what they are saying, and learning, because I'm a person that loves to learn. I'll never stop learning until the day I die. And I always tell people, don't stop learning, keep learning, because that's how you stay youthful. I'm just saying, right? That's how you stay youthful. My wife would disagree because she hates my beard. But that is something that is, important for me, is making sure that we all are learning together, right? OVP says, I want to delete my first 50 videos. I feel the same way, OVP, but, I still feel like God says, no, leave them in there. You're going to learn from it, and other people are going to learn from it too. Let's see. Scott says Canadian Prepper had some good content until he became a Doomsday Prepper. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. There's still some nuggets though that I kind of glean from watching his channel. So yeah, and so when you think about it, my first year was a year of learning. So if I'm looking back, it was that my first year was learning, following other channels, and because coming out of COVID, I'm like, I'm not ready for nothing. And coming out of COVID, I fell into Doomsday Preppers, right? And so I'm like, these people are nuts. And then came the YouTube channel after a year of me following, because when I was looking at all of these channels, one thing was lacking, was the God piece, right? Maybe it was mentioned, every once in a while, prepare your home, stay spiritually prepared, stay mentally prepared. But, I never heard really anybody talk about it, right? And, and me being me, right? Because I'm a pastor, a chaplain, People look up to me for biblical wisdom, and I'm like, I don't see a God piece in any of this. And if we can't let fear drive us to where we build a bunker because that's what we think is going to save us, you know what I mean? And so so as I was watching, I was learning at the same time that there was a missing piece. And when I started the channel, I thought about maybe I could start a channel and talk about it, but how would I talk about it? And I looked within myself. What are my capabilities? What do I know? The only thing I knew was hunting, fishing, and camping. That's all I knew up to the point, right? And it wasn't until jumping into all of this that I learned everything else: survival, radios, all that stuff. And so looking at it today from back then, I have learned so much. So if I can encourage you about anything, it's keep learning, because that is the thing. All right, so let's look back. I want to share a video. Hopefully you guys will hear. I'll probably have to lay my microphone down. Let me lay my microphone down here, and I'm going to pull up this video on my pad. Please let me know if you can hear it. And
it's gonna jump the gun, but new channel, guys.
So this, let me go ahead and kind of set it up. So this video is the video of Pinball telling his audience about my channel, because here's what happened. It was this day, a year later, after learning, that I said, you know what, I'm just going to start this channel and I'm going to go live. And I have been following Pinball for the longest time, and I'm just going to go live tonight. When I got into his channel, I saw the feed, and like every time that I was in there, and I thought, you know what, this would be a great moment for me to kind of share my channel and say, hey, after Pinball tonight, I am going live. Come to my live, right? And so man, was I dumb. And so all of a sudden, all of his moderators started jumping on me and saying, you can't do that in here. You can't do that in here. Pinball sends a message in the chat saying, moderators, leave him alone. It's okay for him to share his channel. Then when he came on, this is what he said. So hopefully you can hear this. I'm gonna play this real quick.
This real quick, and I know he came up and I mentioned it a few minutes ago. It's going to jump the gun, but I saw it. New channel, guys. If you guys have seen, probably not, because it's relatively new. God's Prepared Warrior is going live after we're done tonight. I will put the link right below for his channel, so you guys can go check that out. But I've watched his stuff. His stuff is legit. It's good stuff. He's been around here on the in our family here for at least a year that I can think of, and worthwhile go listen. Always good to get other perspectives. I mean, it goes right into what I've said many times. I don't have all the answers, nor does anybody else. But all of us have some. And if you put it all together, it just makes you a more informed, educated, well-rounded, ready person. So that was something I did want to mention there tonight. But I know, a few of you.
I'm going to tell you guys, it still chokes me up when I hear him, say that. You might say, well, Fernando, he was just, to me, I'm going to be honest. When he said he's legit, I probably did. I just don't remember. But I nearly fell out of my chair in my office as I was watching him talk. And I came running out here and, telling my wife, oh, my God, I just got the push of a lifetime. And, my wife at the time, really didn't understand what I was doing when I told her that I created a YouTube channel and, was going to go live. I don't think she really knew what was going to, come out of all of that. And so I have kept that because I want to do so many things, not just for myself or this channel, but for other people who have a channel. And I will be the first one to say thank you here to OVP, because OVP has invited me to come on his live so many times. And I am always honored to do that. And, sometimes I may not have a lot to say because these guys are way more experienced than I am. But I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm always going to be learning. And so, it just, it's my heart to help people in that way. Right. And so, I really am thankful for Pinball that many years ago to say, I know this guy, I've been watching his channel, and it made me happy because somebody was watching my channel. And so, I was trying, right? I was trying. I think there was many times where I had nobody in the chat, and, you can look right here and there's 8 of us according to the thing here. And I'm excited about that. Where other channels, they're like in the hundreds and the thousands, yeah, we'll get there one day, but it doesn't bother me because I'm focused on the 8 of you that are in here with me. And the 9, okay, so it just went up one. The 9 of you who are in here. And so, it's been that thing right there. I've kept this, and every once in a while, I periodically listen to it so that I keep on the straight, right? So why did I start the channel? COVID is kind of what put my mind into ready mode, because I wasn't ready when COVID happened. I've shared this on the channel a lot, how I, figured that out because I was in line and we were trying to get toilet paper. We were trying to get food. There was a point where we were trying to get gas at one point and there were lines. And, I never thought I was going to get gas. And so I wasn't even prepared with that. And so, I think there was a day that I sat in my car maybe and said, you know what, I'm not prepared. Maybe I need to be a prepper. And I think it was that conversation that my phone listened to me and then began to just pull out people like Pinball, like Travis, and Canadian Prepper, and then the Doomsday people. And so, I just started following all that stuff and I began learning. So it was COVID that kind of pointed that out for me. And in that 1 year, I was learning from everybody, anybody that I could, find on YouTube. I went to YouTube University and I was learning. And that's the thing that has happened in my life, right? From that point, then the Lord said, you've learned, now you need to get this message out there. And like I said, I'm not, just like Pinball said, he's not the know-it-all of it all, right? None of us are, but we all have our gifts. We all have, our strengths. We all have, the skills that we've learned and picked up along the way, and those things we can share, right? And so, I just felt this call that God was wanting me to do. And then we were transitioning out of ministry. And so it kind of just, the Lord opened it up for this, to do this thing here. And so, that's where that's gone. My original vision is still kind of the same. I really haven't changed. I'm still just wanting people to get ready, right? Because I was that person that was not ready. That's what I want to do. That's been my original vision and mission, is to help people get ready. Tammy says, welcome in, Tammy. She says, that was when I started following stuff as well, Fernando, and learning a new way of taking care of myself and our family. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. That's the thing, because I've woke up, right? I've been pulled out of the matrix. And so I'm seeing things, and my wife has come a long way because she was like, "You're crazy." Yeah, I think I am, but I think crazy is the thing, right? And so, that's always been my original vision and mission, is to bring people with me because of what I'm seeing and just kind of sounding that alarm, right? I felt called to speak. I couldn't sit behind the screen anymore and not say anything. And so, because again, you got to know me. I'm not the behind the scenes person. I'll be the front person if I need to be. And so, I just felt called by the Lord to, to my own unpreparedness, and then how God, played a role in that to say, now let's get it to everybody, right? The next thing I have here is how the mission has stayed the same. It has stayed the same. There's a question Saltmist is going to put up in here. So my mission has stayed the same. There are new things that I'm wanting to roll out that will be rolling out soon, and I've been working on those things. I'm excited about that. I'll get to share that here in a little bit. But let's go into the next segment. This next segment is lessons learned. I want to share some of my biggest lessons. I think, the biggest lesson I've learned is that I can learn from other people, right? And, that was my first year. That's still me doing that today. I'm learning from all of you guys. I'm learning how to can from Glenn and from Salt Mist. And, I'm learning from you guys. And I'm writing all those things down, and I have a place for all of them so that when I get into that mode, I'm able to do it, right? So I'm learning from all of you. I think the next lesson that I've learned is that I've learned things, that I thought I would never or ever could learn, right? Radios is a big thing, right? It's a huge thing. And so I've gotten into that, right? I've learned that. I've learned, that preparedness is ministry, right? I've learned that community matters and that everyday preparedness matters, right? For all of us to be doing. I've also learned that leadership is part of preparedness, right? And then, you guys as my audience has become my new mission, right? And so, that's important, important for all of us, right? Scott says, I've been watching for about a year, maybe a year. That's awesome, man. Tammy says, I'm canning carrots tonight. See? You guys are just awesome. The next question is, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from my channel, right? Salt Mist says, since pinball is alive. I remember you in my first live, Salt Mist. I really do. And thank you for hanging with me since then. So yeah, what are some of the things you might have learned from me, right? That would be nice. That would be awesome to know if you guys have learned anything from me. All right. What are my favorite moments? I think for me, the live streams are my favorite because I have a captive audience, and, my mission to get people prepared, to get people to see things that are happening, like the Watchman Report, of all the stuff in the news. I love pointing those things out, right? I love pointing those things out because it keeps us on top of how we need to be prepared. If we're vigilant, we can be prepared because we know. So the live streams are part of my favorite thing. My other favorite is my morning videos that I get to put out, because I'm wrestling a lot always the night before. What do I put out tomorrow, and what can I talk about? And I'm researching and I'm praying and I'm asking God, what are the things that we can talk about tomorrow? And sometimes I don't have an answer, and I wake up in the morning and there's the answer, right? God has it ready for me. And so, I love the morning videos. I love that all of you comment on the videos. All of you are in here jamming away, in the chat here. And to me, that engagement, it encourages me to keep going, right? Because you guys are in it, and I see some of the things that you say. I see some of the things, that concerns you. I see some of the things that, no, I don't like that, Fernando. and all of that is important for me to know and to learn for all of you. And so thank you for, commenting, because that's important to me. Let's see. Shelly says you talk about comms more than the other preppers or homesteaders that I follow. Okay, Shelly, this one's for you then, because I'm about to do a whole new thing. And if y'all hang with me a little bit, we're probably going to go over an hour. I'm going to share what's in the next segment. I'm going to share what's coming up in the next for year 4. So I'm going to share that. So keep that idea. Dana says, I've learned that I am not alone in my faith. That's right. You're not. Oh, that's music to my heart. That prepping and faith are not opposites. They're not. They go together. Isn't that beautiful? Scott says, faith is the most important prep. It is. Yes, it is. Dana, that's a good one. Yeah. OVP says, Dana, that's a good one. Yeah. Scott says, Dana, let's prep 100%. Shelly says, oh, the thing you have taught the most is to stay level-headed. Yes. Don't buy all the distractions. Yeah. And put God at the front. Yes. That is so important, Shelly. That is so important. Yeah. And I say that a lot, our preps aren't going to be the things that save us. It's going to be God, right? He's the one that's going to save us. He sent his son for us, right? Dana tells OVP, I am among very intellectual friends. That's awesome. OVP says, my channel is only 15 months old. Really? Man, I didn't, you know what? I wouldn't even have thought of that. I would have thought you've been doing it for a long time now. That's awesome. Tammy says, that's beautiful. I agree. My faith walk with God is number one. That is correct. All right. The other things that I love is the comments. Of course, I just said that. And then I really love when people have told me that a video helped them or an idea has helped them, or when they say, Fernando, great live tonight. That guy knows who he is. And he's always telling me that. And, every time I read it, it brings a smile to my face and it fills my heart, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for anything else but to help people and kind of show them what I've learned in some way, right? And so, yeah. All right, so let's talk. This is the last segment, I think. Yeah, last segment. This is vision for year 4. So my plan for this year is to finish by December. I have a goal that by December, I finish the God's Prepared Warrior Manual 1. Okay. So if you don't know, I'm writing a manual. I'm writing actually 6 manuals. And I have been really heavy on manuals 1, 2, and 3. And it is my goal to not be jumping around, but to from actually this last weekend forward to complete manual 1 and have it ready for December before the new year. So that's my goal, is to finish that first manual. And it's all about God's Prepared Warrior. What is it like to be God's Prepared Warrior? What does that even mean? And I'm going to tell you, it's all about putting God first. And so it's going to be really neat. And then we're going to get into the other manuals where it's about the preparedness stuff. It's about first aid. It's about this kind of thing. And how do you apply that? What does it look like with God in the middle of all that? So I'm working on those other ones, but I'm going to be super heavy focused on manual 1 and try to have it done by December 1st, if not the end of December. So that's what I am working on. I'm working on all 6 manuals, but I'm going to focus now on manual 1 so that I can get it finished. So keep that in prayer. I really need your prayer on that, because, work's been a little difficult for me. I've had my manager quit, and another person in my department quit. And so there's just been a lot of things that I've had to take on to do. And I'm not complaining, but it's just, it takes a lot of brain work for me in my job. So keep that in prayer, because I want to complete that goal by the end of this year. The next thing is I have videos. This is for Dana. Or is it Shelly? It was one of y'all. I have videos planned for the products that I have been purchasing and using. So here, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I've gotten a discount code for Jase Medical. I don't even get paid for telling you guys about that, and you guys going to do that. I don't get paid for that. But I got a discount code for y'all. So, it's a discount. And then I also got a discount code for Jackery. And so you guys can go check that out. But I don't get anything free from anybody. But I do buy my own things, and I have been kind of holding them on the side. I did come out in my GMRS Facebook page that I'm a part of here in my area, and I did share this last week my new venture that I'm taking, right? And so I'm going to be, I purchased my own stuff. So this bag here is a new bag for me, and this is the bag that I've purchased to put together a radio prototype for GMRS. And so I'm taking my Frankenstein comms bag, and I'm breaking it apart, and I'm going to be putting together for sale a GMRS combo pack. And so my hope is to be ready with that before next year. So I'm working on the prototype. I'm buying my own stuff, so it's going to take a little bit. And then once I have everything ready, prepared, it's prepped, it's working. I've checked it in the field. You're going to see videos on that. I've checked it in the field. It's working. I've deployed. This is the paracord for the antenna. Let me show you the antenna because I have it here. I bought a J-pole antenna, and it is very minimal. This is really minimal to this antenna that I have that you have to connect to a pole and all that. This one is really awesome because all you got to do is connect a paracord to this and hoist it up in the tree, and this connects to your coax cable down to your radio. Get this high up in the tree. Now you have altitude and you can make better communication. So I am purchasing all of these things, and I'm going to, it's going to be my prototype, and I'm going to be putting that out probably in January. So pray for that. That's going to be something too that's going to be pretty cool. I'm actually going to start putting videos on the stuff here pretty soon, so watch out for that. So that's products and stuff that I'm going to start sharing with you guys. The next thing, this one is for you guys. I'm going to be doing live streams, because this is what I've learned from OVP. It's good when you bring multiple people on to learn. And so I have 3 contacts of people who are specialists in their field, and they are necessary to prepping, to people in general. And I want to bring them on and interview them on the channel on a live stream. And so, I'm going to bombard OVP on how to do that because I don't know how to do that yet. And so I am going to be scheduling 3 guests. One is ready to go. The other 2 are just kind of getting their YouTube channel going. And they are like, Fernando, I want to do it, but I'm afraid. And I'm like, look, let's get you. I'm actually kind of becoming a coach for them. Not that I know it all, but, I know some, right? And helping them how to do videos, how to, work the algorithm. And, I've learned all of that. And so I am kind of helping them, walking alongside them, and I am going to be bringing them on my channel. And one of them is ready to go. She's already started her YouTube channel, and she's doing really, really great. I've been encouraging her, and I stumbled across her on Facebook. And so I will give you more details on that once I've sat down with her and we talked about a date and a time. I've given her all my questions, so we don't just kind of fly by the I forgot how that saying goes. Anyway, you know what I mean. So OVP says I can help. Good, because I'm going to use you, brother. I'm going to need all your help. So that's coming up. The other thing I want to do is MAG related stuff, mutual assistant group related stuff, because I have actually started here in my area posting out that I want to start a MAG and I want to start fresh. I don't want to join somebody's MAG because I don't want to step on toes, because I've been in that place before and it's kind of weird. Because I'm a natural leader is really what it is. And so not that I step on people's feet, it just kind of feels that way sometimes. And it's like, I'll just start from scratch. And so I've kind of put that out there. I've had a few people say, hey, I want to be a part of that. And so I'm going to start working that too. Fernando, you can use StreamYard. Okay. Well, we're going to learn. You're going to teach me. And so we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that as soon as I start putting these together. We're going to do trainings together. We're going to do community meetups. We're going to do preparedness workshops. So what I do at Bug Out Weekend, and I take away from that, is what I'm going to do with the MAG, right? So OVP is going to be teaching me over there too. He just don't know it yet. All right. The next thing is for this next year is building this GMRS unit that I just showed you to sell. That's going to be a thing that I'm going to be putting out there also. The next thing is growing spiritually by hosting God's Prepared Warrior Bible studies and maybe even hosting a live Bible study that we can do. Sharing more spiritual, shorts and reels is what I want to do. And I actually have been putting together the content for those videos. It's just now creating those videos. And then the last thing, far outreach thing that I want to do is start a God's Prepared Warrior Survival School. And so if you think about all of this that I'm telling you, it is me moving into this space 100%. And helping people get to that space, and it's helping people learn how to survive on their own, right? And to help their family do it. So that's in the works. It's on paper and in my brain, but it's kind of a far out thing, but it will eventually come true in God's time. So I'm praying on that. If you guys want to pray on that, prepping you, see, you are up for a challenge. Yes, I'm up for the challenge, my brother. Always. Welcome in, Cedric. Thank you for joining us tonight. So that is what we're looking ahead for in year 4. And so I'm just thankful for all of you guys who come on here every week and, follow the videos, who join the live, who comment on the videos, because it encourages me to keep going. And, we're 3 years in, and this is a blessing. It is a blessing to be able to be here with you guys, because God has orchestrated all of this together. So, yeah. So let me close you guys out. This is where we bring it home, right? 3 years, thousands of conversations, hundreds of videos, countless prayers, right? But here's what I've learned. Preparedness isn't about having the biggest pantry. Preparedness isn't about, owning the most gear. And preparedness isn't about living in fear. Preparedness is all about becoming the man or woman that God has called you to be. And that's the important thing there, because a God's prepared warrior, and that's you, a God's prepared warrior loves their family. God's prepared warrior serves their neighbors. God's prepared warriors study God's word. We study, right? A God's prepared warrior lives wisely, plans ahead, and trusts Jesus every step of the way. And I want to close tonight with this scripture for all of you. It is Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. Write this down so you can read it later. But it says, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it out to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. I believe that that is very true to for this ministry, right? 3 years ago, God began something. I didn't even know what it was going to be, but tonight we're celebrating what He has done, because God has been all in all of this story. He has brought me through COVID, because I had COVID several times when COVID was the original. And, my mom was like, my wife, let's go to the hospital. No way. I'm trusting God in this, and He's going to get me through. And so, I love this verse, being confident of this, that He, God, who began a good work in you, will carry it out to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. So I totally believe that. And, I'm even more excited about what God is about to do in this next year. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me. We went 12 minutes over. Thank you guys for joining me. I love all of you. And Mondays are my favorite thing to do, and be here with you. I'm always reminding my family, because they're like, hey, let's go over here, or let's go over there. And I'm like, guys, it's my live night. And they're like, oh yeah, because they know I'm not gonna move from there. Because I love being here with you guys, and I love sharing all about God and what God's doing in my life and what He can do in yours. All right, guys, you're welcome. Tammy, you're very welcome. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you'd like to send me an email, encouraging words, or hey, Fernando, think about this, do that. Send me an email at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. I would love to hear what you guys would like to see in the next year and what you think. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Have a great night. And remember, stay vigilant and stay prepared. See you in tomorrow's video. God bless.